Okay, so in my last video, I just changed the lip. I tried not to overline my lips as much, and I just can't do it. P.S. This Fenty balm is amazing. It's sticking a little bit, but whatever. Anyway, so in one of my other videos semi-recently, I tried applying SPF, like legit sunscreen, over my foundation. I wasn't wearing foundation. Over my makeup. But I was wearing very natural, like summery makeup. Today I'm wearing more like full glam. Like I'm wearing foundation, concealer, powder, cream blush, highlight. Like I've got all the things going on right now. And I want to try it again. I'm going to use my EltaMD sunscreen. So we're going to do the same thing and see if by some miracle I'm able to apply sunscreen over a full face of makeup. So let's try it. All right, let's zoom in. Lips are easy because I have this lip balm from Aquaphor that has SPF. So like if I'm wearing a gloss, like I could, this is kind of driving me crazy because it's like sticking to my, like every time I look at it, it's like it's beautiful, but I can't do that. If you saw that other video and if you didn't, you should check it out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. What I did was, not my idea, I saw other people doing it and I wanted to try it. And it was applying actual sunscreen over your makeup by placing it down with a clean makeup sponge. So I'm gonna be doing that again. And by clean, I mean dry, not wet, because you don't want to dilute the formula. So in the other video, what I did was I put it on the back of my hand and kind of like just evenly distributed it, which is obviously what I'm doing right now. And that way I can just like pick up a nice even coat without it being like way too much, you know? But I also want to make sure that I'm like putting down enough using that same sponge, the Makeup Forever sponge. So I'm going to pick it up like that. Oh, I'm really nervous about it. And then press it into my makeup. Now in my last video, I used my Tatcha sunscreen, but it does contain quite a bit of, Tatcha contains quite a bit of fragrance, so I've been trying to avoid it on this little skincare journey of mine. I see a little bit of foundation on the sponge. Going over the brows and everything. I'm going in with like quite a bit of sunscreen too. Okay, well, besides the fact that like it obviously is making me look pretty dewy, I'm like so impressed by how well this, why are you focusing on my earrings? Yeah, thank you so much. This actually works so well. I thought that like by placing it down with the sponge, it was just immediately just going to start like breaking up my makeup. Now, truthfully, I'm not into like ridiculously full coverage anymore. Like I really don't, I kind of just like apply a very light amount of foundation and then go in with concealer for, you know, the areas where I want a little more coverage. But this technique is actually, I think, very effective. I mean, definitely made me look significantly more oily, and there are certain areas like around my nose, I don't know if you can see, where it's definitely like broken down the foundation a little bit. Not the foundation, the concealer. So like the more coverage you wear, the more of a risk you run, you know, breaking it down. For instance, on my chin here, I don't know how you can see that, but like this area, I had a breakout that I concealed, a little bit around my mouth. So basically all the areas where I had slightly heavier coverage. I feel like it actually did a really good job. And if you didn't see that other video, because like now obviously I look really oily, another way to like amp up your sunscreen application and, you know, take down the oiliness is to go in with a sunscreen powder. So this is the translucent SPF 30 powder by Jane Iredale. If you watched that other video, then you already know, but it's got powder in the brush. It's just good for like on the go. I'm gonna shake it up and then you can like twist it up and then use that to kind of, you know, set the areas that the reapplication made oily. Or just dust it over your whole face if you're like trying to, you know. I'll be honest though, this is like so stupid. This is good if you don't wear any makeup. I actually think it's really dumb. Because look at, it puts, like, I don't know if you can see that actually. Can you see that? Right up there? It just pops down a huge amount of powder in one area, and you can't really, like, the brush is too thick. So I think this is good if you're like a person who tends to get oily because of sunscreen, you know? But I think the brush itself, honestly, especially if you're gonna be wearing like a more full face of makeup like this, is just not realistic. So I would actually suggest maybe using something like the Ilia translucent setting powder. This is SPF 20, but if you want to go back in with this, I don't know, I think that would be a little bit better, you know, cover up the oiliness. And then I did talk about, you know, not Benefit, Bare Minerals, because I use their powder foundation as a bronzer. And their other, like their concealer powder and just their foundation powder in general, like I like using those in the summertime because my skin tends to be more oily and they're more lightweight. So if I was going to be doing this, then I would probably, because I had a full face of makeup, it definitely did like remove some of the coverage. So I used liquid concealer, liquid foundation, I used a cream blush. So I would probably go back in a little bit with my bronzer, which I used the Bare Minerals foundation powder in Golden Beige 13. So I would just blend that a little bit. And these also contain SPF, which is nice, right? SPF what? Oh, I guess it's just SPF 15, which isn't like amazing, but you know, it's something. We already put down our sunscreen. And then for the areas where I feel like I need a little bit more concealer coverage, I would just go in with Well Rested, is SPF 20. So this is nice to kind of just like layer over your SPF because it's going to like eliminate shine and add a little bit of coverage back in the areas where it may have like broken it down. And then I'm just gonna go back in with a little bit more of my blush. I used Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Nearly Neutral. So I guess what I would say is if you have to touch up, or if you're gonna reapply sunscreen over a full face of makeup, then you have to be prepared to, you know, touch up things like blush, bronzer, highlight, because it kind of makes the makeup just kind of like break down into your skin. It makes it look less like you're wearing makeup, you know? So like you end up kind of removing coverage in certain areas, and it just kind of makes it like become a little bit more one with your skin. But you can definitely do it. And I think that the ideal for this, like if it's summertime and you're outside and you wanted to wear a little bit of makeup, is the least amount of coverage on your face. And then, yeah, just the least amount of coverage on your face, honestly, dude. I think that's the biggest thing, because it's a lot easier to touch up if you're using like a really small amount of makeup on your face, particularly with coverage. And then you can just keep like maybe a concealing pen or, you know, a concealer for like the areas where you need to like a little bit more coverage. But it can be done. It can be done. So if you're interested in reapplying sunscreen over a full face of makeup, keep a clean makeup sponge and your sunscreen with you. This one is just, I can already see like in this area of my face, it's just a little bit more dewy for my skin, because this is what I wore before I put on my makeup. So layering it, I think it's just making me a little too dewy in that area. Like it's probably gonna break up in a little bit. I'm still trying to find a good matte sunscreen that doesn't dry out my skin. All right, guys, you can do it. You can do it. If you guys do this, or if you try it, particularly if you like full coverage foundation, please let me know. And if you are going to try this, I highly recommend that you do it on like at the end of a day when you've been wearing a full face of makeup, like for the first time, just to see if it works. Because you run the risk of just like totally ruining your full face of makeup. Like I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to take this off. So it's totally fine. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you want to see next. I'm going to go lay in the sun now. Just kidding. All right, bye.